coffee, get cozy, and let's dive in. Today, I welcome a very unique guest, someone whose life walks between two worlds, and I mean every single day. Welcome, Daniel Jackson. He is a spiritual medium who communicates directly with archangels and spirit. His work centers on guiding others toward their purpose, helping them understand why they're here and what their soul is learning, and even what waits beyond this life. Daniel, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, MJ. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Pretty
Are you
good. Well, after
excited?
that little, technical
Okay.
difficulty that we had there for a sec, but that was okay.
Yeah, no big
Yeah,
deal.
I'm good. I'm really good, actually. I woke up on the right side of the bed.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah,
I always sleep
yeah.
on the right side of the bed, so I guess I'm okay.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be fun. I can just tell. Daniel, how is your morning treating you?
My morning is okay. Typical. I wake up, I see a bunch of people standing around me. Um, you know, is what it is. You get used to it after a while.
I mean, how many
Doesn't.
years have you been doing this?
I have seen spirit ever since I was 3 years old.
Wow.
Um, but I've been a medium for 9 years, so and that's when it really bloomed for me because I was meant to wake up at that point because my wife went away on vacation for 2 weeks, and then for those 2 weeks she was gone, I saw everything you could ever imagine in a scary movie happening in my house. So um,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
so it was pretty intense. And then when she came back and she told me about her adventures, I told her about mine. I mean, she knew about a lot of the stuff anyway because because I have told her I'm just a person who always had a ton of scary stories of ghost stories, and I just never put two
Yeah.
and two together. But it was at this juncture it was becoming too much, and I had to figure out what was going on. So we investigated it, and then here we are. Yeah,
So,
but it's a
base,
process. It's a huge process.
before we dive into anything, I'd love to know a little bit about your journey, how it all began for you. Like, when was the
Um,
first time you realized or even started communicating with spirit and archangels?
that was right before turning 50 years old. So Um, when all this was coming about, I, we had a paranormal group come to the house, and they investigated so much. By the time they left, they were supposed to come back 2 weeks later. They got so much evidence from my house, they ended up never coming back. They got too scared, and they actually broke up on my front lawn. Um, because
Oh my
it was a
goodness.
lot. It wasn't really scary stuff, but it was so much. The When I finally got a hold of the guy, he said it takes like 10 or 15 homes to get that kind of information, not just one. So then eventually sought out mediums, and I found 5 mediums. None of them knew each other, but every one of them told me the same story about me. And one of them in particular wanted me to come to her show, and we went to the show. I didn't tell her when I was coming. But what was kind of strange is when we walked into the door, the lady was standing on the stage, and she locked eyes with me and followed me as my wife as we walked through the room, and I thought that was pretty creepy. But she ended up reading 8 people, and I was one of them. And it was stuff about my dad that no one else would have known, and my mom.
Wow.
So I went down on the stage and talked to her, and she said, "Oh, Daniel, we just talked like 2 weeks ago on the phone." I said, "Yes." And then she looked at me like I was 7 years old, and she said, "You need to stay here. Don't move. Wait till all these people leave. We need to talk." And I'm like, "Oh crap, what did I do?" But and then she told me that she says, "I understand you see a lot of spirit." And I said, "Lady, it's like being in a room with 1,000 people, except nobody leaves, and more just keep coming in." And she's like, "Yeah, but they're coming to see you." And I was like, "Why would they be coming to see you?" She said, "I can see you like spirit sees you." And I saw you come into the room. She said, "I could feel you on the other side of that door." And I was like, "Oh, what's that supposed to mean?" She said, "Oh, I see you like them." She said, "You don't look like a human being to them. Like you, I couldn't see you that way either." She said, I
Mm.
really had to keep my eyes closed because it was so bright." I said, "What was so bright?" She said, "You look like a figure of a human, but you look like a light bulb." She said, she said, they're coming to you because they think that you're the light into heaven." And I was like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? She said, well, they're just coming to you because they want you to help them. I said, what am I supposed to do with that? And she said, well, you're supposed to have a big conversation with God. And I said, why would I do that? She said, oh, Daniel, you're just a medium. You just don't understand it yet. You're not trained. But so, I mean, it was just that. And then I ended up having a going home and talking to my wife about it and saying, I mean, I said, what should we do? And she said, well, I guess you're supposed to have that conversation with God. And I was like, how am I supposed to
Yeah.
do that? She said, how do you do it any other time? She puts everything into perspective for me. So I went in and had that conversation with him. And then the very next day, everything started to change. But I used to see like green and red mist pouring out of the walls and skulls floating around with red eyes and fangs and 8 foot skeletons walking around the house and just it was just a crazy amount of stuff. Now I'm not saying that that stuff has stopped because it hasn't. I just
Mm-hmm.
understand it now, but I'm very more aware of it. And now, but I used to sit, when I would lay in bed, I used to see these bluish white lights coming up out of the floor and going up to the ceiling. And I was like, what the heck is that? And it was so much. And then, so when I had this conversation with him, saying, I'll do whatever you want me to do, I'll accept whatever you want me to do, I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, he brought people into my life, and I ended up working with a group of mediums. They were all professional mediums, and they ended up helping me to develop this. And through those that development part, we found out that those lights that were coming through the floor were actually archangels. And I no longer see them as the blue white lights anymore. I actually see their faces and their bodies now and everything. And they're not men with wings and shields and swords or magical beings that are going to fix your life. They're not that stuff. So, I mean, nobody in this world has a guardian angel. I mean, why would a guardian angel keep you from getting cancer but not keep your dog from getting hit by a car? Because they don't do either. That's why. They just don't. But they do provide. But it's not even angels. You have spirit guides, and they provide you options of things to do, whether or not you choose the way they really want you to do, or you use your selfishness and ego and go the other way. That's up to you. But
Does everybody have spirit guides?
everybody has spirit guides, yes.
Yeah.
But they're not magical beings that are going to fix your life. They provide you with things to do, and this is what they want you to do. They want you to, when you get like a gut feeling, like when you're about to walk into a building and you say to
Yeah.
yourself, and people say it out loud all the time, they say, I don't feel right about this. That's your spirit guide coming through to your soul, which we call our intuition, which
Mm.
is your soul, trying to guide you to
Mm-hmm.
not go into that building. But most people go, I'll go in anyway, and then it gets all screwed up because because people don't listen, trust, and follow through. That's why. But yeah, I've through those conversations and all that development, I found out through a lot of the channel. I one time I got a message that said they wanted me to sit with one of the women there across from her and ask permission and hold hands and clear out our minds. And then they told me to ready, just watch. And I was like, just watch. And they said, just watch. So I asked permission with this one woman at the class, and it wasn't really a class, but and I said, hey, they want me to sit across from you and clear out our minds. I'm supposed to hold out my hand. And when I said that, one of the other women said, hey, are you getting ready to channel? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is what they're telling me to do. So I did that with her. And they all gathered around. And when I put my hands out, she grabbed a hold of my hand. She went like this. And I was like, what's going on here? And she said, oh my God, that's the strongest energy I've ever felt in my life. And then she started talking about what was going on, and I ended up doing that with every person there at the meeting at least 2 or 3 times, and every time I did it, an archangel came through or Jesus came through, and the 2 times that God came through, and when God came through, that was an experience. When he started coming through, first thing he said was, "Hello, my son," and I said, "Who am I speaking to?" And he said this. He says, your father. You call me God, but I don't like that word because you use that word too many times that have nothing to do with me. And when he said that, I thought, okay, that's very okay. And I said, what can I help you with? He said, you need to learn to trust yourself, Daniel. He said, you need to stop asking why. I said, yeah, I say that all the time. You hear me? He said, of course I do. I'm your father. I hear everything. And I was like, okay. He said, stop asking why. I said, yeah, I can't figure out why me. He said, because it just is. Now move forward or don't. And I was like, okay. And he said, but when
Mm-hmm.
but when that was happening, I was like, I kept looking down. He said, oh, don't worry, that'll go away soon. So he knew what was taking place. My skin felt like it was on fire. Everybody else in the room, their hair was sticking out straight and goosebumps everywhere. And they're like, oh my God. And he said, that'll go away soon. And it did. And then he said, you'll be working with my children. And he said, you referred to them as archangels. And I said, okay. He said, you'll be working with them. They'll be providing you answers. And when you need them, you call upon them. But they will bring you answers all the time. And I said, okay. And he said, but it is a process. Are you
Yeah.
willing
Yeah.
to do the process? And I said, yes, I'll do anything you want me to do. He said, I know you will. And then he laughed. And then he said, as far as getting earlier, he said that this was funny. When he said, you need to trust yourself, he said, you need to shit or get off the pot. And I was like, what? What did you just say? And he said, you heard me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then he started laughing. And I said, you're laughing. He said, oh, Daniel, we love a good joke. And I said, my mother used to say that word, that phrase. He said, where do you think she got it from? So, and then working with archangels, after that experience there, I would see them every night when I go to bed, and I see these little arms and little tentacles come down, and I'd see them touching,
Right.
and I'd feel these cold touches all over my body. Now, that was fine and dandy. Then I'd go to sleep and wake up 3 or 4 hours later, and I'd be throwing up and crapping everywhere, because the energy is so strong. That's what happens. Because in order to work with archangels, your soul has to be worked on, as well as your body has to be purged, and that went on twice a month, like getting the flu twice a month, and that went on for 3 years. That's what it takes to work with archangels. And anyone out there who says they're working with archangels, and if that's not taking place, you're not doing it. You don't even know who you're talking to. It's not just a bright white light. Because when I see archangels around me, I see 8-foot praying mantis. I see some that look like birds, some that look like mammals. Some are people, not many. And most others I can't describe to you because there's nothing here to equate it to, because they're not from here. That's why. But I
Wonder
see
if you
everything.
could explain to us why you call yourself a spirit medium instead of
Well,
a
I don't call myself
psychic
psychic.
medium.
I don't call myself
Why?
psychic because when you say the word psychic, people say, what am I thinking now? And I go, I don't know what you're thinking now, but everyone else thinks you're an asshole for asking that question. Just saying. But because I communicate with spirit, within spirit, but I don't, even though, so I see, hear, feel, smell, sometimes taste, and communicate with spirit all day long. And the sometimes taste parts you don't want, because that's a negative energy coming through. And when they do that, they put something in me that it tastes like somebody threw up in my mouth. So you don't want that part. Um, but they talk to me. They talk to me or around me, and I usually see 1,000 of them or more every single night, unless I'm looking into the low energy dark realm, and then I see gazillions. But they either talk to me or around me. Like 2 weeks ago, I had a group of them standing in front of me, and a guy turned around and he said, "Hey, Daniel, can you hear us?" And I said, "Yeah, I can hear you." And then he turned back around and said, "Yeah, he can hear us." And that was it. I mean, they say some strange things, but they have said things to me. A woman came to me one time, and she said, "My life here is like a prison sentence." And I closed my eyes, and I saw her and another girl next to her, and the other girl was laughing at her because they're in the low energy realm. They didn't cross over into heaven. So,
So
but
what is
even though
that
they
lower
talk to me,
realm?
I don't get my answers from them. I get my answers from archangels. Everything.
Everything in the lower realm?
I see everything in the lower realm, but my
And
archangels
where is
provide me.
that? Where is the
This is
lower
what
realm?
we call, what people think is hell, but it's not
Oh,
hell. But
okay.
there are things that are going on there you would think are like hell, because there are
Okay.
lots of negative energies there. They're not demons. They're all in it for themselves. There's not one guy walking around with horns and a tail, controlling everybody. Although there might be a guy walking around with horns and a tail, but that's because that's what he looks like where he comes from. Because everything that I see isn't human. Everything I see is from all over the place. I see so many things it's just hard to describe. Everything. Some of them I can equate something to. Like I saw some beings standing in front of me one time, and I say beings because they were standing in front of me. There were 7 of them, and the only thing that I could equate what they actually looked like was like Chewbacca from Star Wars. They were all just having a conversation, and I asked them if they wanted to cross over, and they said no. So I moved on, because if I can't get them to cross over, I'll just move on to somebody else.
You're like a psychopomp.
I have a friend of mine who's a medium. She calls me the Oracle because it's true. Because
Yeah.
she calls me she says that I'm I'm an original is what she calls me. Because but I know that because the this when the medium said that the spirit think that I'm the light into heaven. I am. My soul's been here the longest on this world. My soul's been here
Mm-hmm.
forever, and my soul is the actual light that shines. It's have spirit all cross over. So the way that it works is when you die and you pass away, because you will, you're going to step up out of your body, take a step to the left or look to the right, and you'll see a light turn on for you, and that's a portal of that light for you to go home, and you're either
Mm-hmm.
going to walk in or you're not. That's the way that happens for you. When my body dies, the soul automatically jumps out of that body, and another one's already being born at that point and just goes in. So in other words, you go home to go you if you have to come back again, because the average time that
Mm-hmm.
people come back is between 26 and 29 lifetimes. And if you have to come back
Wow.
again, you'll go home and then you'll come back
I
that
don't
way. I
want to
don't
come
come.
back here again.
Yeah, nobody
Come
wants to
on
come back
now.
here again. You don't want to be back here again because what's going to happen in the next 80 years is because of the age you are, you wouldn't come back for another 80 years after your lifetime after you die. If you died under the age of 30 years old, you wouldn't come back for 8 more years, all for one reason. So you're not recognized. But for that same reason, you know, it's just a difference of again.
Whoa, go back there for a sec. Okay, so I'm 52.
Right, because you're over the age of 30 years old. When it is that you
Yeah.
pass away, you wouldn't come back for another 80 more years. It's a minimum of,
Why?
of 80. So you're not recognized. Because every time that you come back, you'll come back a different version of you every single time.
And
You've been
so
here,
where
let me
am
ask.
I?
You've been here 28 times. You're in your 28 lifetimes. So in other words, you've had 27 other sets of moms and dads, brothers and sisters, dogs and cats, and 27 other astrological signs that mean absolutely horseshit. Why? Because your body's born, your soul's created. It has nothing to do with stars and the moons or Mercury rising. And even your body doesn't have anything to do with that. I mean, here's astrology. A bunch of people standing around looking up at the stars saying, if I play connect the dots, that makes a fish. No, it doesn't. You're just an idiot. That's all.
Oh my goodness, Daniel, you're funny.
I got
Oh my
jokes.
goodness. I don't, so how do you know? How do you know when it's your last time here?
You won't know until you actually cross over into the light. And a lot of them don't cross over into the light because they don't want to have to come back. Because when you stand up out of your body, you're going to know that you've had these many lifetimes because you're going to get perfect memories of this lifetime plus all your other 27 lifetimes. And then you're going to know if you walk into that light, you might have to come back again, and maybe you don't want to. So a lot of them stay here. As many that cross over, there's that many that don't. And there's no such thing
The
as a
earth
rainbow bridge.
dwellers.
Yeah,
Kind of,
there's no.
well,
Well,
not
yeah, there's
really.
no such thing as a rainbow bridge either. I mean, that's not real. I
Yeah.
see dogs and cats. I see horses walking around grazing. Why would they be grazing? Because that's what they were doing before they passed away. Same thing. Because you're still you. But yeah, you won't know
Where
unless you
are
walk
they?
into the
Where
light.
did the pets go?
Hanging out here, earthbound, or they're in the low energy realm. There's a difference, but some of them hang out here. But yeah, but the ones in the low energy realm can only remain in the low energy realm. If you're up in what we call heaven, the upper energy realm, you can go and do anything you want to do, and it's still very physical. They show me heaven all the time, and I see people walking around. I saw some people riding something that looked like a Ferris wheel one time, and seen some people driving something that looks almost like a car. I see buildings there, but I also see buildings in the low energy realm. But that place looks like a war torn movie, and horrible beings there. And the horrible beings don't want you to leave there once you're there because they have to collect energy from you because there's energy they collect there like little rivers that go through this blue energy and little pockets and they walk up to it and they have to cock their head back and go like a dream state and collect it and then they come out of it because if they don't get enough energy when they walk around it's like what we would feel like when you're nauseous so they have to
Right.
have it but the negative ones need more
Okay.
because it takes more energy to be negative, so they need more. And if they can't get it from somebody over there, they come into this realm. Why? Because we are human buffets of negativity. I mean, look around. Everybody's when I call somebody a piece of crap, I'm not judging them. I'm calling them a piece of crap because that's the way they act. They can choose to be differently. They just don't. But yeah,
And
it's a
what
horrible
do
place.
where do you think heaven is or the afterlife?
It's not 3,000 miles in the sky. It's right next to us. You just can't see it. Because there's a reason why you can't see it. Because if you were seeing it, you would see everybody else there that you know. Why? Because you're related to everybody. Because when you go home, you don't see just the 200 or 300 people you met here. You know everybody because that's where you come from. You don't come from here. You come here to learn. But you come from there. We all come from the same family, the soul family. And if you saw all your relatives over there, it'd be like a glass ball. You'd be banging on that glass ball trying to get their attention. What would you not be doing? Living your life here that you're meant to live so you can go home and stay home. But not everybody does it because they don't because life is here is about learning lessons and also fulfilling your purpose. And the thing that brings you back is if you don't fulfill your purpose. And purpose is not becoming a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher. It's not an occupation. I mean, we didn't always have occupations, so wake up, people. So your purpose is we're here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not because you can, but because you should in a way. Where you're going to do
I
something
like
for
that.
someone that you're physically doing something they can't do for themselves, or you're helping them to figure it out. Doing acts of kindness, do it for the reason of just because. Like if somebody needs help walking across the street because they're having a halt, you go over
Yeah,
there and you help them. That's fulfilling your purpose. It's not going to be some
that's
big
right.
grandiose story that you're standing in front of the camera going, "Look at me! Look how wonderful I am! I'm feeding all these people." No, you're
Hmm.
not. You're being an
Hmm.
egotistical piece of crap. That's what you're doing. Yeah,
Well, I love how you tell it straight.
I
Oh
do
my
tell it straight.
goodness.
I
I
I
like
don't do
that.
rainbows
I
and
like that a
unicorns.
lot.
I don't
Yeah,
do
I like
everything as
that.
love and light and rainbows and unicorns and all that fluff. I
Yeah.
tell the truth, and not just the pretty kind, because people need it.
Mm.
Because we've had our hands held for too long. We've been coddled for too long. We got all these fake mediums and fake practitioners out there feeding you that, oh, you have guardian angels following you around. Again, if you had a guardian angel following you around, guarding you from everything in your life, what would you learn? Nothing. And God put us here to learn. There's a term that says, God
That's right.
bless you. He did. He wants us to figure out the rest. We're just not doing a very good
Hmm.
job. So you have to keep coming back over and over and over again. No one's going to raise to a higher consciousness, not as an individual. We have to do it as a race of people. And we're not doing very well. I mean, look,
No, you
we
don't
point
think that
rockets
we're
at each other.
growing?
We are. I mean, some more and more
Hmm.
people are waking up.
Awakening?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, but get away from that Kundalini crap. That's a bunch of bull crap right there. That's not real. Dark night of the soul. Get out of here. Your soul is a perfect being. There's no dark night of your soul. It just isn't. It might be a dark human, but that's different. But yeah, that Kundalini stuff, that's a bunch of crap.
What do you
You
mean by
because
that?
having this
So
ability,
you're.
well, you either have this ability or you don't. It's that simple.
Hmm.
And it's provided to you because during the creation of your soul, that's when it's put into your soul. Because some of us are meant to be teachers, others are just meant to be students. That's just the way it is. You might
Do you
want this,
think?
but you don't really want
Hmm.
this.
So is this the reason why some of us have had these spiritual connections from a very young age? It's
Yes,
almost like we
yes,
came here and we didn't wake up or we didn't lose our abilities
right,
and life didn't.
but a lot of the spiritual people who have progressed to this point have also had a lot of trauma in their lives as well, because God wants to see how well you're going to get through it. Because in order to do this, you got to be able to handle stuff.
You know that that's something that you say that because I just was thinking about that. Just did just when I was journaling, because I had personally, and then I'd also said it through some of my interviews that I've had. What I'm noticing, and this is a pattern I've noticed since I've started doing this interviewing of NDEers. A lot of them came from a lot of traumatic backgrounds,
Yeah,
and it's like, huh,
myself too. Yeah, I had
me
a pallet
too.
of, I had a pallet of frozen chicken fall on top of me. I went to work on my motorcycle and left in an ambulance. So yeah, I had to go to rehab for 4 years. I had to relearn how to walk. I had to walk with a cane for 2 years. But here I am.
See, that is it is a pattern I'm noticing in a lot,
Yeah,
not everybody. I'm not saying it's everybody, but in quite a
sure.
few
Well,
of
it's not
them,
everybody.
there is a background of either, okay, there's either really harsh religion, like
Yeah,
fear-based
yeah, those people.
religion,
The
or
people who
there's
want to tell you
some,
that's the people who want to tell you how to
yeah.
live your life the way they want you to live it while giving them 10%. Why do they want you to give them 10%? Because they don't want to go out and get a real job. That's why. Yeah, they're pieces of crap. God, he's a merciful God, yet he's a fearful God. I don't get.
Oh my
He's a merciful
goodness.
God, yet he's a fearful God. No, he's a loving God. It's all about power and control and
Absolutely.
greed and fear. Yeah.
That's right. Loving is
No.
all I see.
Yeah.
Loving is the only thing I've ever seen.
I've seen him
So,
11 times. He's spoken
mhm.
to me 11 times. I mean, out of 11 times I've seen him, one time he came through completely genderless. But the other times he came through, he looked like the Greek god Zeus. He had long gray hair, and he had a goatee like mine, and he had crow's feet, and he was very muscular looking, but very nice. But I mean, I've never felt. I can't even describe that when he came through the love. I can't even describe. There's no way to describe it.
Neither could I. Well,
No,
it wasn't God. I didn't see, and I seen Jesus.
I
And
see him every day.
the strangest thing for me, Daniel, when Jesus came through for me, he appeared so big to me. And I'm not sure if that was because maybe I felt so small next to him, like as in a me being smaller than him
Well,
in
it's just a
metaphoric
sense that
terms.
it's that sense of
Yeah.
not love, but love and not
Mm-hmm.
control or power, but just that
Yeah.
sense of him.
No,
He's it's a
exactly. But
greatness.
for me,
Yeah.
it seemed like he was so large. And I was in awe of him. The love I got, the goosebumps goes all the way up my neck right now because I don't think I'll ever forget the feeling
Well, that's because
of the love.
your soul is tiny inside your body. It's not a it's just the
Yeah.
power that's inside of your body. It's minute in size compared to they are because they're no longer in their body anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
I loved it so much I didn't want to leave. And I remember um, not thinking 1 minute about my family,
Yeah.
who I adore.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
no,
Oh,
I
why
didn't
would you?
even think
Yeah.
about my children. I was like,
No, well,
no,
when you
I'm with
stand up out
him.
of your body
I'm
and you
with this
leave your
guy.
body, you're not going to think
Yeah.
of your family when you leave your body. You're going to look at your body and go,
Mm,
"Oh, I guess I don't need that anymore." You'll be happier out of it.
yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
felt light. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're much lighter because you no
Unbelievable.
longer, when you leave your body, you no longer have your pain, anger, sorrow, grief. Well, if you go into heaven, you no longer have your pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish. So you're going to
Hmm.
feel lighter. The ones who stay here earthbound, they still have all that. They still have their pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt. The ones that are here, so when you pass away, if you passed away 89 years old and you stayed here earthbound, you would stay 89 forever. And you also still feel physical pain because I see them doing things
Oh
to each other.
God,
Yeah.
I would hate that. Oh my
Right. Right,
goodness.
because if you're moving,
No.
you're still moving around like an 89-year-old person as well. So, but yeah, and they're all hurting each other of as well. I see them doing things because they're trying to gain control of each other to get energy off of them. I watch them do that, but that's not pleasant to see. But I can't turn it off; it's just there. So, but yeah, they still feel physical pain. It doesn't last as long, but they still feel it.
What about people in spirit that are not in that place, but what about them trying to communicate with their loved ones?
It's hard for them to do.
Yeah.
It's very hard for them to do because they don't talk like we do anymore. They don't have a voice box to do that. They do what we call telepathy and everything. But everything they're doing is soul to soul. So that's why sometimes you think you hear it, but you're not actually hearing it. You're actually it's coming through into your soul, and that's why it comes through so clearly and loudly. But in order to get clear messages, you must be clear. And that's not easy to do for people. So people want to tell. They would ask me all the time, "How do I get in touch with my spirit guides, or anything like that, or even general spirit all the time?" Well, you have to be clear in order to do that, and you can't do that with your mind racing a million miles an hour because there's no space for or no ability for that passageway
Right.
to be open for that. So, and because the body itself and the brain are an actual block, because the brain doesn't do anything except for make little parts work. It's the soul that's the power behind that that makes all the little parts work. Like when you just turn around and you say, "Oh, 11:11." You think you just did that automatically? No, your soul is guiding you to do that. It's directing you to do these things throughout your world. But
Yeah,
whether or
I
not you're
know
going to
that
pay
for
attention
sure.
to them or not is up to you.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Hmm.
that in order to actually absolutely get in touch with your spirit guides or spirit in general, you ready for the list? Because it's not easy. You have to get rid of all your pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, anxiety, hate, greed, uh, selfishness, ego, drama. No smoking, no drinking, no doing drugs. If you have tattoos, stop getting them. What's more important, to be spiritually free or be fashionable? You have to get rid of all that stuff in order to have a clear passageway in order to get in touch with them all the time. And I do. I don't have any tattoos. I don't have nothing. I let go of all my pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, drama, everything. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. No tattoos. Nothing. Because God told me not to. So I don't. Because when He tells me to do something, I do it.
You listen. Hmm.
Right. And you have to be, that's what it takes to be someone like me.
Hmm.
Because you have to be that kind of dedicated. It's not about just getting answers. It's a responsibility of giving those answers to people. And you have to give answers that sometimes you don't want to give, but you have to be able to give it. If you hold it back, this isn't right for you. You can't do it. You have to tell them the truth.
What? How do you communicate with people's loved ones when they come and see you? How does that work out?
What I do, I don't communicate directly with their loved ones. That's not what I do. I'm
Okay.
here. So what I do is in what I call an angel reading, meaning I'm connected to my archangels 24/7. It never turns off. It never goes away. And they provide me peace of mind and clarity while also giving you direction in your life by answering all your unanswered questions. So you can ask me questions about them, but I don't connect with you directly with those. I mean, if you want to go and connect with your mom and dad just so you can have some comfort just because you know they're already dead, I mean, what's that going to help you? It's not. Because what you need is answers to get through your life, to learn how to learn your lessons and fulfill your purpose so you can get out of here and go home, stay home. What's more important? Talking to your dead mom and dad and going, oh, mommy, I miss you so much, or getting out of here so you can go home and be with them all the time. I think that's more important.
So is what you're saying,
So does God.
so if I'm on my path and I'm doing everything I have put in a blueprint basically, that before I came to this incarnation,
Well,
and
sort
I'm
of.
doing what I'm doing, can I get out quicker and can I get to be with my family?
No, you're going to get down here by choice. You're going to get
Okay.
down here by choice because God doesn't punish us. We punish ourselves by the choices that we make, and the choices that we make
Right.
don't put us
I
on the.
agree
You
with
can be
that.
on the correct path, but if you're not fulfilling your purpose, you're coming back
Mm-hmm.
again. Plain and simple. I don't make the rules. I
Mm-hmm.
just explain them.
Mm-hmm.
And the choices that you make are good. Whether you, when someone comes along, and you see someone and they need some help doing something, most people go, I ain't got time for them. I'm late for work. Well, if you're late for work, get up earlier. It's pretty simple. But you go over there and go, let me help you do that. Let me help you. When you do that act of kindness, that's what's going to get you to punch your dance card more times enough so you can go home and stay home. But it's a culmination throughout all your lifetimes. And you got to
Mm-hmm.
get it done. Because I mean, 26, it's between 26 and 29 lifetimes. That's a long time. But I've done a reading for
Mm-hmm.
a lady here one time. She'd been here 43 times. She even asked me at the end of the reading, she said, Daniel, do I have time to fulfill my purpose? I said, no. You have to come back again. But no, you've run out of time. Now, if I told you, MJ, that you ran out of time to fulfill your purpose, what would that mean to you?
Yeah, I'd be scared to be honest.
You should be scared because that was my
Mm-hmm.
nice way of telling her she was going to die soon. She did 6 months later. So when I get an answer, I'm not fucking kidding.
Yeah. Like you and I were just talking prior to coming on here, and we talked about, getting the call and doing what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, I
Correct.
got it, and
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I stepped up to the assignment, and I took it, and I'm doing it now.
But you
Oh,
took the responsibility of taking it. It means you don't give up. And if you
oh,
can't handle
absolutely.
that, then
But
yeah, if you
the
if,
weirdest
yeah,
thing is they threw me into the cage with the lions. I felt a little bit, if you know what I mean. And they really made me do something that I'm not normally used to doing. But that's okay. I faced a fear, and
oh, you mean
it
like
works
talking to
good that way.
archangels all day?
That's a little bit different, man. But
Well,
come
no,
on.
but it's the same. It's the same thing. You're doing something you wouldn't normally do, and they need the ones who they know who will actually do it. The ones
I
who will
asked,
take the responsibility of it. Sure.
like,
Why do you
why'd
think
you
you?
wait till I was 50?
Because
Three
because it
or
happened for
two?
me right before I was turning 50 as well.
I'm just like, wow, I have zero energy. When I was in my 30s, I could run circles around everything, and now it's like, oh my God, hard to get out of bed sometimes.
Sure, but they know you'll take. They know at that point in your life as well. If you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work every day,
Yeah,
you'll do this too because it's a responsibility
absolutely.
of it.
Yeah,
Because everything is a
absolutely.
responsibility. I mean, even with spirit themselves or where the information comes from, there's a hierarchy to it, but they don't see it as a hierarchy. It's all about responsibility. There's God,
Right,
archangels, what archangels refer to as lesser angels, not because they're lesser beings, they just have less responsibility. And then you have spirit guides, and you have spirit, then you have us because our soul's inside of us, and then you have spirit in the lower energy
right.
realm. But it all comes down to responsibility and what you're meant to do with that responsibility. And you're either going to
So
take it
how
on
do
or
you?
not. You took it on for a reason,
Yeah.
right? All right, don't let it go.
Oh, absolutely. I knew I know the feels. I had the feels my whole life. I
Yeah.
know when it's
You
I
you
know
always
when I'm
knew
being
you
called.
throughout your entire
Yeah,
life you always felt like there was something more you needed to do.
yeah.
Right.
They're absolutely from a little girl,
Yeah,
little
it comes
girl.
from within.
So
Like
yeah.
intuition, the first two letters of intuition is
Mhm.
what? In, from within, the soul.
Mhm.
Everything is
Mhm.
the soul because everything is energy and energy is everything. I mean, I don't even do that stuff, that Akashic Records crap. I mean, why would you do that? Everything you have, everything you've ever gained throughout every one of your lifetimes is within your soul. You don't lose it. There's some of these people out there who say, "Oh, I can take away your past life trauma." No, you can't. That's God energy. That energy has to be stored within the soul so that you can learn from it. You can't take it away. Those people are ridiculous. But yes, everything is there within the soul. All you have to do is take the time and the effort to get in touch with your soul. You don't have to go to some fake galactic library up in the sky. You can get it right there. But you have to be willing to take the time and the effort to do it. And that's why they
And what
brought
do you
this.
think
That's
of,
why they brought this to you, so because you're willing to take the time and the effort to do it, because you know it's important.
well, I feel like I'm a channel, as in channel,
Correct.
not like YouTube channel, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah. I'm
kind of
channel
like the
six, I guess. I don't
middleman.
know. Yeah.
I'm not sitting here. I'm not a guru. I'm not anything like
No,
that.
me either.
I'm
I don't
just
believe in the
here to
gurus and all
talk to
that crap.
people. No,
No.
I'm being myself. I've had
Yeah.
a hard life. I had a great awakening. I had an NDE, and I'm trying to help humanity.
Everything that you saw in the NDE,
Period.
I see every single day in my life.
Hmm.
Just never turns
I
off
see
and
a
never
lot
goes
as
away.
well.
Yeah.
I see death. So one of my
Yeah.
gifts that I've
You
had
know why?
since it came on at 16 is the onset of dying in people. So I
Sure.
see half the face turns to a skeleton,
Yeah.
and then the other side goes like an aura comes in and out. And I've seen that starting at 16. I also was a shared death experience with my dad's murder. And I was in a totally different city, but I've had these my whole entire life.
You know
I
why?
don't know what they were for.
You
No
know why?
idea.
Because everybody dies. That's why. It's not a
That's
matter
what
of
I
if. It's
think
just a matter
too.
of. I mean, when
That's
your
what I
dad
think.
passed away, we called it murder. But the reason you call it murder is because the world teaches you to put blame on everything. Because no one dies too soon, too young, unexpectedly, tragically, or untimely. Everyone just dies. There's two rules
And
in
he
this
showed
world.
up in front of me,
Yeah,
plain
as
as
long as you
simple.
follow the rules
This
and comprehend the
transparent
rules.
man.
Yeah, you got to follow the rules and comprehend the rules. And rule number one is people die every day. Rule number two is you can't change rule number one. That's just it. Everyone's going to die. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. What's important is what you do when you wake up in your baby body until you don't go. And in between that space, that's what's important, what you do. But most people think it's important to have 6 cars and 7 houses and 10 boats. That's not important because those things have no actual value. The only time they have value is when they're in their hands. So what's that mean? The true value in this world is us. We have to get that figured out. We just haven't done it yet.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. We are very important.
We are.
So, how do you think people can help themselves if, by seeing people like yourself, how can they clean themselves up?
Well, again, you have to get rid of all your pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, hate, greed. No drama from within or with outside of you. No smoking, no drinking, no
Mm-hmm.
doing drugs. Everything in there is a distraction. Everything's a distraction from you knowing the actual you.
Yeah.
And until you learn to do that, well, when you have people in this world
Good
pushing this
morning,
on you all the
Crayola
time,
man.
yeah, yeah. Well, the narrative is to push this on you all that you need this
Yeah.
and you need that and you need that, and don't worry if you go into debt. We'll take you out of debt, and then you go back into debt again. Oh, you have depression. We can help you with that. Or you have this, and you have alcoholism. We can help you with that. Well, the only person that's going to truly help you with any of that stuff is you. I mean, if you and I were best buddies, and you said to me, Daniel, I'm having a problem drinking, I said, look, MJ, I'll take you to classes, I'll take you to AA, I'll keep you away from all the drugs and alcohol, I'll keep you away
Yeah.
from all the bars. Although who doesn't like a good strip club? I get it, whatever. But I'll keep you away from all that stuff. But until you choose to stop drinking, no matter what I say or do, isn't going to make a difference. I mean, you go to a doctor for some medicine for depression, he's going to give you drugs, and that's only going to suppress it. Or he's going to send you to another guy to talk you down from it. You know what you can do? You can talk yourself down from it. Let it go because it's your past. It's not a life sentence. Let it
Mm,
go.
that's a good point.
Because you're truly going to make the decision to do that. No one else is going to do it
That's
for
right.
you. And you're
Mm-hmm.
either going to hold on to it and continue to be a victim the rest of your life, or you're going to learn to let it go and walk forward. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
It's
if
hard
you were
for
going
people, though.
well, if you were going to a job interview and you said to them, "Well, look here, I got this. Here's my resume," and they look at it and they go, "Well, you know what, MJ, this is really good. We like this. We like what we're seeing here, but we Googled you, and when in that Google search, we found out that when you were 7 years old, you picked up a stick and you stuck it in some dog shit, and you turned around to people and said, 'Dog shit,' and you're trying to scare them with it." We don't like that. We can't have that at our company. But you look at them and you say, you know what? I'm not that person anymore. I don't make the same decisions when I'm 7 years old. I don't think the same way. I don't act the same way. I don't do the same things. I've grown past it and I've become a better person now, and I help people every single day. And they say,
Mm-hmm.
awesome, come on in. So what's that mean? You've moved past from your past. Why can't you let it
Yeah.
go that way? You let it go for a job interview, but you can't let it go every day for what? So you can walk around and go, woe is me all day long? No. Stand up or be owned. And if you continue to do that bullshit, you're owned by society and the narrative of the world telling you this is what they want you to do. Well, separate
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Because if you don't, what are you going to become? Nothing. And then you'll come back here and do this all over again. Again, I don't make the rules, I just explain them.
It's really sad though. It is
It
sad to
is.
see the state that the world is in right now.
It
But
is.
I have seen a lot of awakening. But 2020 just went us. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
It's,
when's
oh,
it ever been good? I mean, how many? Tell me,
it
tell me your life.
hasn't, but that
t-
was even worse.
Well, it's because this is
Oh,
a psyop that's put out there for people to be a certain way. They're trying to control the world. I mean, back in the 50s and 60s, they were doing nuclear explosion tests all over the world. They did over
that's
like
true.
3,200 of them. How come back
That's
then we
right.
didn't wear? Why didn't we wear a mask then? But why do we have to wear one now? Because this is what they're trying to train you into doing. The
Hmm.
problem is they tell you one day to eat bacon, they tell you the next day to wear this type of shoe, and then the next day they
Yeah,
tell you not to eat bacon, and then the next day they tell you not to wear this shoe. The problem is they need to shut the hell up. But what we need to do is stop listening, and we don't.
that's what I think. So I
Right.
stopped listening 13, 14 years ago
You know
this
why what the
year.
problem is? Because
Done.
it began with thousands of years ago. They called us the flock. Now they call it the herd mentality. So what they're actually calling us is sheep and cattle. Stop
No, I ain't
listening.
no sheep. I
Right.
am not a sheep.
Me either.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Move on. Although we have to
I'm
live
way
within
too strong
society.
souled, too strong spirited to be that. I'm
Yeah.
not
I
even
mean,
kidding you.
again, like even with religion, the people who want to tell you how to live your life the way they want you to live it, well, you're only going to live it if you're listening to them. We all come from God, from a part of Him that makes our soul a divine soul. Everyone's a divine soul, not just Jesus Christ. They just had to make Him divine so they could use His name and God to have power and control over people. But we're all equal in this world, because we all
Yeah,
leave this world and you all come back the same places. What's that make
yeah.
everybody equal? All 7.5 billion of us. But do we have to live under power and control our entire lives? That's why Jesus was actually here. Jesus was here to tell us that we could all live out from under power and control. We could share everything in it because there's enough of everything in the world. We could take care of each other in this world. But the people who were in power and control, who actually were the king and queen and religion, because they don't want to tell you that part,
Hmm.
they saw him on there and they said, we can't have this guy out on the streets because he's taking our power and control away. He's taking all our money and our taxes away. So they put him on a cross. They tortured and murdered him in front of everybody and make an
Yeah.
example out of him. I mean, they used to do it with crosses back then. Now they do it with they used to do it with stocks and shackles and stuff like that. Now they just do it with uh, with
Hmm.
handcuffs and stuff like that and put you inside of a prison. Why? They
Yeah.
don't want Jesus on there, so they put him on the cross, tortured and murdered him in front of everybody to make an example out of him, to show everybody,
Yeah.
if you do what he's
Yeah.
doing, we're going to do this to you too. So that's why they
Yeah.
want you to wear
So
a
so you
cross
know
around your
what?
neck.
Times really haven't changed that
No.
much.
When have you ever known that we haven't been in some type of excursion or some
We're
type of
just
war?
not using
Right.
crosses and
Well, with the cross, the only reason they want you to wear a cross is not to remind you what Jesus did for you. They want to remind you how much power and control they have over you. It's very
hmm.
simple. So why would you want to? Because a cross is a form of punishment. Why would you want to wear a form of punishment around your neck?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they can have control over you. That's why. Stop listening.
Yeah. Yeah, the world. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it
How
is
do
what it
you
is.
think? Actually, I wanted to say, so I've been hearing a lot lately, going through social media, and I seen like um, people talking about, oh, don't go to the light when you die. That is a soul trap.
Again, power trap.
It's a soul trap, right?
Power trap.
So it's like, I was curious, what does Daniel think of the soul trap people are talking about? Like,
There is no soul trap. You walk into the light and you go home. But
don't
that
you
doesn't
think your
mean
soul
that.
would just know what to do?
That's why some of them don't go, because
Hmm.
they know that there's a possibility they may have to come back and do it all over again. That's
Hmm.
what they think the trap part is. But it's not a trap. The reason you have to go home and come back again is because you didn't learn enough lessons. So because you made choices that didn't work for you, and you're going to know that. But you're not going to find out unless you walk into the light, or unless you ask me, because I can get that answer for you. Because no one actually goes home directly to heaven. You have to go to a holding place where they go over your life with you and let you know what you did and did not do. And if they talk more about what you didn't do, you have to stay in that holding place until it's time for you to come back again. So you don't get to go to regular heaven. The only ones who get to go there are the ones who have fulfilled their purpose. That's all. Very simple. Again, God's not punishing us. He's our Father. He wants us to learn. It's not a trap. The only person that's trapping you is you. because you're
I
not
think
willing to
so.
take the time and the effort to do what it needs to take to do to go home and stay home. So it's not a trap. That's just everyone else trying to trap you and have power and control over you. That way, because they can tell you, if you listen to us and you follow us, we'll save you and we'll get you a spot in heaven. Well, no one can save you a spot, keep you from going there, or get you there. They can't. They're just people,
No.
but they want to have power and control over you, and they want to fear you into everything. So stop listening to them. Get your lessons learned, fulfill your purpose, and go home and stay home, and don't do this again. Because you don't want to
How do
come
you
back the
not
next
do
time.
this again, though, Daniel?
Why?
How do you
Because the
not
next
do this again?
well, you learn your lessons. You fulfill your purpose. You go around and help as many people as you can. I was at the bank a couple of months ago, and I was walking out of the bank, and I saw a man coming across the parking lot, with a walker, and I said, "Hey, buddy, are you coming in here?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "All right, I'll wait," because I knew with that walker coming out of that bank, he was going to have a hard time getting out of that door because it was heavy, and I didn't want him to
Yeah.
have to struggle, because I thought about it ahead of time, and I thought, you know what, I don't, you can think that way instead of being a selfish piece of crap your entire life. And I thought that way, and I said, you know what, I'm going to get him in the door. So he came across, and he's like, "Oh, thank you for staying." I said, "That's all right, no problem." Then I opened the door for him, and then he walked in, and then I was going to get the other door, but the people inside opened it electronically, and I said, "Look at that, they opened the door for you." He's like, "Oh, great." And he goes, I said, "All right, how long, you got to be long?" He said, "Why?" I said, "Well, I'll wait for you." He said, "No, you don't have to do that, sir." I said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah." That's fulfilling your purpose. You can do it, but you know what it is? Choice. And you're either going to choose to do that and be a good person in your life, or you're going to walk around thinking life is all about me, 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 me. Well, it's not. And that's what's going to bring you
And it
back.
sounds like little acts of
It is.
kindness
It's
as
acts of
well.
kindness. It's doing
That's,
it for the
yeah,
reason of just because. And everyone can
yeah.
do it, but no one's willing to do it. You know why? Because they think that their life is more important than anything else. That's why. Because they don't have the time to do it. Well, you're going to have the time. You know why? Because you're going to keep coming back in there, so you're going to have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Wake up. Simple.
I don't want to come back here.
Well, then get it done, lady.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I do my stuff. Don't you worry about me.
Well, you,
I'm
you don't want
doing
to come
my
back
stuff.
again. You don't want to come
No,
back
no,
again
no,
because if
no,
you had to
no.
come back again,
I don't know.
the next time you had
I
to
don't
come
think
back
so.
80 years after your life, this place is not going to be nice. This place is coming to an end.
Ooh. Yeah. Do you
The,
believe
the
New Earth stuff or?
Yes, because this place.
Yeah.
I'll explain it to you very quickly.
Sure.
Because the end of the world is in 2332. Now you're going to say, how do you come up with that number? I didn't come up with that
Yeah.
number. My guides told me that number. Why? Because you take 2332, you take 23, you add it together. What's that make? 5. You take the 32, you add it together. What's that make? 5. You put 5 and 5 together. What's that make? 10. Turn 10 around. What do you get? 0, 1. So when this place
Yeah.
comes to an end,
Zero
the new
one.
beginning. It's the title of my book. I didn't name it. They named it.
So
So when
what
this
does
place
that
comes
mean
to an end,
exactly? When
and
that
that means
comes to an end, what does it mean?
this world will come to an end. There will no longer be life on this earth. You know,
And where
we've
will
been
we
to
be then?
we'll be on New Earth. There was another.
Okay.
We were on another planet before this one. You've heard of it? It's called Mars. Look what we did to that place. They did a study on Mars a few years ago, and they found an element in the ground that only happens during nuclear explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We were there. This is our second chance. We're screwing this place up. Ever since we started digging into the ground looking for coal and oil, because we could have had free energy. I mean, Tesla came up with the idea, but where do you think he came up with it?
Yeah, I know. I
Right.
think a lot of things were supposed to be free, though, Daniel.
Right. Well,
I
power and
do
control
not
and
think
greed
we
took
were
that away.
supposed to be living like we're living now.
Power and control and greed took that away. Yeah. And it's never going to change until we change it. So the people have to change it, not government. Because government, it's not really government that does anything. It's the big corporations that run this world. But we have to get out from under that. We have to stop voting them in. We have to get them out. Because they're all
Agreed.
criminals. They're all crooks. Because they stand in front of cameras all day saying, "Oh, we hate you because you're red, and we hate you because you're blue," and stuff like that. No, it isn't. They all love each other. They all love each other because they're patting each other on the back, knowing that they have all the power and the control and the greed. Yeah. Get away from it. Stand up or be owned.
It's a sad state,
Yeah.
and I am so happy that my children understand these things.
We
I
all, well,
have
we
two
need to,
sons in their 30s, and
we,
man,
yeah,
they know what's going on since they were young. I
we need
made
to wake them
sure
up.
they did.
We need to wake
Yeah,
them
they've
up
been
because if we
awake,
don't
both
wake everybody
psychic
up,
abilities,
right.
both of them. Yeah.
Y- Yeah, we need to wake everybody up so they can understand this. And that's why I do. That's why
I,
I go on all of the shows that I do to spread this word out to let people know that we have control of this world. We are the ones. When are we going to stand up and take this place back? Take the power back.
I've been waiting for us to stand up and take this power back, and I'm not kidding you. I've been out on the street before. I've been out doing my thing, peacefully.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah,
go out on
no,
the
and
street.
I've done many things.
I hang out. I
I
hang
do
out
want to
down
help
alleyways.
people.
I hang out on the block once in a while.
God. Oh, you're hilarious.
But I come out here on on shows like yours, and I come out here and try to wake people up to get them to understand what's really important in this world, which is us.
Yeah,
The only way we're going
we
to get
are.
this place back on track is if we get it together, and we have to come
That's
together
right.
as a people. Stop
I agree.
stop pointing rockets at each other. Stop putting walls around each other. I mean, look at the Gaza whole thing. They've been fighting over that for thousands of years. Who actually owns it? Nobody. We all own this world. The whole place is a Garden of Eden, and we have to fix this place. But we're not doing a very good job. We have to get in touch with each other more, but we have to get it on a spiritual level because we've already destroyed this world. It's not. We can't stop that, but we can decide what we're going to do as far as our spirituality,
Hmm.
because we all want to be able to go home and stay home. And if we can do that, He will be happy.
I think so. What do you, I just before we get into more about just you, I just wanted to ask what you thought about this statement. I really agree with it. I feel that God works through us to have
Correct.
experiences.
But
Do
we
you
have free
agree with
will.
that?
Yes, but we have free will,
Exactly.
and He gave us free will. He's not going to punish you for giving you something. He doesn't do that. He's not going to send you to a bad place for giving you free will because you have to make your choices for you, and I have to make mine for me. So He's not going to send you to a bad place for something He gave you. Because if God's pretty smart. So don't you think He would have thought if we were going to make some bad choices, He would have put a limit on that free will? But He didn't. So why would He punish you for it? Because He doesn't.
That's
But we have to
true.
wake up and get it
Mm,
together.
hmm.
We're just not
I
doing a good
think we
job.
are. I think some of us are. I mean, I know I woke up and came to my calling, and I'm sure there's many, 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 many others doing it too. I'm
Yeah,
sure
but
of it,
but a lot
you
of
know.
people are in fear of it as well because we teach them at ghosts and all that other stuff, and there's demons out there that are going to be horrible to you, and don't do this. This isn't good for you, or they say this is taboo. You shouldn't be doing it anyway. I mean, even in the Bible, it says you shouldn't be doing this. In Leviticus 19:31 says you're not supposed to be speaking to a medium because we speak to demons and devils. But I mean, who is Leviticus actually? Leviticus actually isn't a person. Leviticus was a tribe of people who sat around and make all the rules. Because they say Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. Well, Father and the Son, absolutely,
Mhm.
but no Holy Ghost. How do you know He's holy? Unless you talk to Him. I
Mhm.
mean, you wouldn't know my name is
Mhm.
Daniel unless you spoke to me, right? So I had to tell you
Right.
my name. Well, how would you know the Ghost is holy without speaking to Him? But you're not allowed to do that because in the Bible says you're not allowed to speak to ghosts, which makes you a medium, of which you're not allowed to do in the Bible either. So the true meaning of that is the Holy Ghost is not real. They're not holy there. There's no church there. There's no religion there because you don't need it. You don't need power and control there. It's about love and prosperity and being and
In
joyfulness, taking
in
care
the
of each other.
afterlife.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
all
I've
about
had
good
many
things.
NDEers say that they never see crosses or anything in the afterlife.
Why would there be? There's no punishment there.
Hmm.
Cross is punishment. Punishment. Yeah, they just don't get it. People don't get it. It's very simple. Just people make
Daniel,
things complicated.
well, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
We know that
they
that's
just
the
do.
truth. We know that that is the truth.
Yeah.
So tell us about you, Daniel, because I know that you are on TikTok and you do a bunch of things like that. Tell us
Yes.
all about you
Well, that's why I'm
before we
down the corner.
close.
That's why I'm down the corner in the alleyway or on the block because I get around. Just kidding. But yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. You can find. You can go on. If you go on, even if you go on YouTube and you put in my last name, Spirit Medium
Yeah,
Daniel Jackson, you'll see
yeah,
me everywhere. I'm all over
yeah.
the place. I go as many places as I can go in order to. I'm not preaching. I'm bringing you the truth because no one wants to really put the truth out there. But again, I bring the truth and not just the pretty kind. So if you want to find me, go on YouTube and look up Spirit Medium Daniel Jackson. Even if you want to find out more information on me, I just did this maybe like 2 months ago. Someone told me I was doing an interview with somebody, and I said, "How'd you find out about me?" He said, "Oh, I checked you out on AI." I was like, "What?" He said, yeah, I checked you out on
AI.
AI. He said, I put in your name, Spirit Medium Daniel, and he said, you'd be surprised what comes through. So I did it one time, and I was like, oh my God, it tells everything about me. I mean, who else do you know that you can do that for unless they're famous? And I'm not even really that famous. So, so
Like
you
you
can
mean
go on.
like Chat GPT or something?
Yeah, I put it in.
Oh,
I picked up my phone and I have an AI thing on here and I said, "What can you tell me about Spirit Medium Daniel Jackson?" And it goes, "Spirit Medium Daniel is an author. He's a host of a podcast called Beyond the Veil with Daniel." I went into all this thing and I was like, "Holy crap, man! There's a lot of stuff on there." So yeah, you can find me on AI if you need to find out information about me. I do go on TikTok. I'm on there at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I do a live show. And I do readings on there as well. But I mostly talk. I'm not trying to solicit anybody, and I talk about spirit and spirituality on there. But I'm going to tell the truth, and not just that pretty shit. So you can find me on
I love
TikTok.
it.
You can find me. I wrote a book. I have a book right here. Look at that. I have a book. Oh, I hit my microphone.
Oh
I
my
have a book.
gosh, you have a
My
book
book.
too?
Yeah, it's called Beyond the.
Yep,
It's
the
called
new
the New
beginning.
Beginning: My Awakening as a Spirit Medium. And you can.
Nice.
It's my story of becoming a medium. But there's also a chapter 12 in there called the Basics, and these are messages that were provided me from archangels, essentially from God, to help us to become the best versions of ourselves while helping others to do the same, which in turn helps us, and that will help you to fulfilling your purpose because you'll implement them into their lives and it'll help you. So, yeah, and you can find it on Amazon for $10, and there's the ebook is $8, and we're actually working on a on an audio version of it as well, and that'll be
Well,
coming
that's
out soon.
cool.
But then you can find my show. I have a show called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson. That's what that BTV in the background is for. And it's all
Okay.
about metaphysical and supernatural. And there's a little bit of UFO stuff on there, but not much. But I have all kinds of authors on there and people who do Reiki and people who are mediums and healers and dream people, everything on there. And that's on a network, on a streaming spiritual network called New Reality TV. That's New Reality TV, one long word.com, and it's streaming actually right now live for free on there. There's like 45 other creators on there. There's some documentaries on there. There's movies on there, and there's also meditations on there as well. And as of right
Oh,
now,
interesting.
my show's the number one show on the network because people know I'm telling the fucking truth, so they come and watch me.
I
But
love
I'm
you,
everywhere. Yeah,
Daniel. Oh my God.
I'm like an
Well, I
old
am so
whore.
happy you were here.
I'm like an
Oh,
old whore. I'm everywhere. I'm not as worn out
well,
though.
Daniel,
I'm getting there.
do you have a message to humanity?
Yes,
Maybe one from spirit
yes.
or one
My,
from
my
your own heart?
um. Well, my heart is their heart because I'm them.
True that.
But
That.
stop judging each other. When you're walking around in the world and you see somebody and you don't like the way they look, you don't like their hair, you don't like their clothes, something like that, before you judge them, take a self inventory of yourself and think of all the crap that you've been through in your entire life and know that you've been through something horrible. And as well as they're probably going through something horrible that day, maybe they are, because everyone's going through something horrible. Because I don't care how much money you have in this world, everyone is going through something. And then at that point, you bite your tongue and walk away. And be kinder to them as well. You know how much time it takes to be kind to someone? It doesn't. It doesn't take that much time. We'd all like a little bit of kindness in the world. So when you walk into a store, you're about to walk in and you see somebody coming towards you and they start bobbing and weaving. They're spending energy trying to figure out how they can get past you without making any contact. So when they do that, I walk right in front of them and say, "Hello, how are you?" "Oh, I'm good. How are you?" "I'm great. I hope you have a great today." "Thank you. I hope you have a great today too." Be good. And then I tell them, be good and don't do any stupid shit. But if you do, don't get caught. And then
Yeah.
you never know how much you change their perspective, their outlook for that day. So why can't we all do that? It doesn't take that much. It just takes a little effort to be kind to each other, look out for each other, and try to take care of each other a little bit better because we're not doing a good job, but we could do better. So do that person who does a little better. That's all.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for joining us today. I think this was really eye opening and quite fun. I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
I
Me
went
too.
so fast. I really appreciate your time, and I'm definitely going to be having you back. I'm sorry,
Awesome.
but you have to come back.
Well,
I
you're
just
good
really
looking. I'll
love your
sit here for another
personality.
hour or so. Yeah.
funny, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay, so thank you. And thanks everybody for joining us this week for the MJ in the Morning. And I will see you in the next one.